How's it going, folks? I got a viewer request video here for y'all today. I'll be checking out the band Warmen. The name of the song is Spark, and I've been told that this song also features Timo Codipelto on guest vocals, so I'm super excited for that. And like I said, there's a viewer request. This song was requested by this ranger right here. Thank you. And without further ado, let's get on with it. Rangers, go. absolutely incredible song. Absolutely incredible song. Man, I mean, I just loved everything about this. You know, the vibe, the sound, and all that. But, you know, before I get into it, dig into it, what have you, little fun fact, I guess, about myself and my power metal journey. And I promise it relates to this. It's not just random. But, yeah, you know, so I got into symphonic metal before I got into like power metal, you know, like Nightwish and Within Temptation and stuff like that. Way back in the day. And that was kind of, I guess, my introduction into more like grandiose. And sure, like Nightwish, you know, especially old school Nightwish with Tarja and all that. You know, some of the songs had a little bit more of like a power metal flair versus symphonic. But, you know, it's like to me at the time especially, it was all just kind of like symphonic metal, you know. And the funny thing about power metal is it's gotten better, you know, but especially back then, it still kind of had that like stigma around it, like, oh, this is just kind of like really silly, like over the top kind of stuff. And so I kind of fell victim to that just kind of stigma, you know. It's like our minds are funny that way, you know. We can get kind of caught up and you hear something enough, or if there's like a stigma around something, you kind of just convince yourself like that's true, you know. And so there can be like a barrier, and this is with anything, there can be like a barrier in your mind that you kind of have to get past to make your own decision about something, instead of just kind of your mind is made up based on what, you know, it's been informed by, you know, with outside factors and things like that. So I'd heard things here and there of like some power metal stuff, and, you know, in my head I was like, this is like ridiculous. You know, I don't really care for this, whatever, for whatever reason. And so I was like really into symphonic metal and stuff like that, for quite some time. And then I stumbled up in, and I actually, like, when it came to like the grandiose, like symphonic metal kind of stuff, anytime I heard like a male vocalist, I just kind of like immediately wrote it off for some reason. You know, I just preferred like the female vocals at the time. And again, it's just something I kind of just wrote off. I don't know. But then, and, you know, and I was into bands like Leaves' Eyes, like I said, just stuff like that with like female vocals. But then I stumbled across Camelot. And Roy Khan was the male voice that kind of made me realize, wow, like, why am I just stuck on, like, it has to be female vocals? Because this dude is awesome. Like, he kind of he opened up the door for me to actually kind of appreciate and listen to male vocals in that kind of symphonic metal sphere. And I say symphonic because, like, Camelot, again, it's like they're one where sometimes, you know, they fall right between that kind of classification. You know, some songs might have a bit more of a power metal. Other songs have a bit more of kind of a symphonic kind of metal sound, or even like symphonic, like modern metal at the time, you know, sound. And so, yeah, but man, I loved his voice. I was like, wow, okay. You know, so he was kind of like the first like male vocalist that opened the door, like I said, to me appreciating male vocals in the symphonic metal, like grandiose metal, whatever kind of sphere. And then I think I've said before on my channel and all that stuff that my first, like, what I consider like true like power metal experience or album was the Days of Grays by Sonata Arctica. Maybe that's a story for another day, how I ended up kind of getting that. And then I loved that album so much. I was like, yo, this band's awesome, Sonata Arctica. Let me go back. Let me listen to like their first album, Ecliptica, and then the rest is history, because that album is just absolutely a masterpiece. And then I just started exploring and getting into other power metal bands, finding other power metal bands and stuff like that. And now, after all of that, the point of my story, is that Timo Kotipelto will always hold a special place in my heart because he was like my first like just favorite power metal vocalist. You know, of all the bands that I kind of first was getting into and stuff like that. Oh man, I just loved his voice. Like I love Hansi Kirsch. I love Tony Kakko, of course, and Fabio Leone, and those guys that were some of the bigger bands, of course, that I was kind of getting into originally. But then when I got into Stradivarius, something about Timo's voice, I just loved the crispness of his voice, just the tone, the color of his voice, his range, like almost just like the pureness of it. And it just, man, like he was just my favorite, like power metal vocalist for quite some time. And so whenever I just hear his voice, it just kind of like takes me back. And again, his voice just holds a special place in my heart. And still to this day, and I don't think this would ever change, I would still always say that he's in my top 5 like favorite power metal vocalists of all time. And that's a tough list. Like if I were to like organize it, I don't know if I could. That'd be difficult, but he'd always be there. And even I guess like if it slipped a little bit, to just top 10, but like he's always going to be up there because he's just phenomenal first and foremost, objectively. But second of all, like just the history that his voice and my power metal journey has of just him being my favorite for quite a while. So yeah, anywho, I love me some Timo Kotipelto. His voice always is just like a warm embrace for me. So anywho, just a fun fact about that. I won't talk about the song too terribly much because first of all, it's awesome. Timo just sounds wonderful here. It just suits his voice so well. He's almost even got a bit of a softness, like, approach to this song, which suits it very well. Yeah, I mean, he's got the range and all that stuff, but it's not like so much, he's not hitting you with as much like gusto per se. It slightly softer, but it suits the vibe of the song. The keyboard is incredible. I mean, it carries the song musically, in my opinion. I just loved it. Like the keyboard melodies, all of it. I was just bopping to this thing the whole time. Great guitar solo in there, followed by a great keyboard solo. I love the way that the song is structured. The verses, and then the way it kind of builds up, and you kind of get like a little hit, and then maybe like a slight pause. Like, it's almost like that weightless moment, on a roller coaster before you like go down. It's like when you're going up like a drop or like a hill or whatever, and you get that brief 0G, and then it like starts going again. It's like that's kind of like that moment there, which I loved. And then the chorus kicks in with a great melody, and again, just great vibe. And yeah, I mean, this song is just absolutely right down my alley. Really has that 2000s feel to it. Nice, glorious, heavy dose of keyboards. And then Timo's voice. Can't go wrong. So fantastic here. This song was killer. Definitely one I'll be adding to my personal playlist. Loved it. So thank you for this request to the Ranger who requested this song. I'm starting to think you know me better than I know myself, but scary is frightening. I'm getting scared, but yeah. Anywho, glorious song, loved it. Let me know, folks, in the comments down below. What do you think of this song here, and who was your like first favorite power metal vocalist? I'm not talking about like now or current. Maybe it's still the same. But I just mean like the first one. Like it doesn't have to be the first power metal vocalist you heard because Timo wasn't mine. But I just mean in your early adventures of power metal, getting into it and stuff. Like the first one that was just your favorite power metal vocalist, your very first favorite. I'd be curious to know. But anywho, thank y'all so much for tuning in. and I shall catch y'all next time. Ranger. Out.